Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked. We're doing a discussion over Bonsai, which is a game about
building trees.
Bonsai,
nature.
Which is another
damn nature.
Yeah, there's too many. Right. You know what? I'm rooting for global warming. No, I'm an advocate for pollution.
Nature games or apocalypse
Well, you
games?
don't have to be for pollution, just for global warming.
That's true.
Just for the eradication
Of just nature in general. Yeah.
exactly.
So this game came out last year, right?
Yeah,
2023.
because it was at Gen Con last year.
Right.
That's where it premiered, I believe.
And I remember seeing it all the time at Gen Con. The tables were constantly full.
Yeah.
And it's cute.
Yeah.
It's a cute, fun little puzzle game.
Right. Pretty light.
Yeah, akin to kind of a lot of other games.
Yeah.
Like, not in what it does, like in terms of specifically
Just the light
mechanism.
puzzliness of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's not overly complicated.
I'd liken it to like King Domino.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm
Totally
thinking,
different placement, but the puzzle of figuring out how to ideally place things.
Right.
yeah,
Without
like, it's-
knowing what your puzzle pieces are going to be in the future.
Right, it's kind of like right in the middle of King and Queen Domino. Like
Right.
I'd say Queen Domino has a little bit more going on, but King Domino doesn't have enough. So this
Yeah.
is like right in the middle.
Yeah, strategy-wise, complexity.
You know what I was getting vibes for, and it could just be because of the
Colors.
hexagon pieces. You've played this with me. Have you played Honey Buzz?
Oh yeah.
I have not.
Okay, so it gives me Honey Buzz vibes because in a
Yeah.
similar situation, it has a little bit more worker placement, but Honey Buzz has you taking hexagon pieces and building out your own hive,
Right.
And getting actions from that.
Right.
That's kind of the vibe I was getting from whenever you're building out your tree with the 4 different pieces. But yeah, and I think these games, like these kind of filler games, because this took 30 minutes
Something like that.
at 3, which apparently Beach G has it at best. At
Yeah,
3.
I would think this would be probably best at 3. Because 4, you're just not going to get your turns as fast, and there's not much difference between a 4-player game and a 3-player game.
Right. What about a 2-player game?
It was fine, but I will say I like 3 probably a little bit better.
Yeah, probably.
The pool changes a little faster. So
Yeah, I was thinking maybe at 2 you're almost guaranteed to get the cards you want, and
Pretty
at
much.
3 you're not. That's one extra person. That's like, oh man, I could really go for that, fruit goal card, and he took it. That's 2 more people who have a chance to take it from
So
me.
it's more people take the chance. Also, you can kind of optimize a little bit more, so you can allow a card to go down because the chances are that someone's going to take that card from you. It's going to be slimmer, and even if they do, there are enough of the same cards in the deck that you're probably going to get again. So if you really need it, really the only difference is you're going to get more of these scroll cards, and so you're going to get more bonus points.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? You mentioned like waiting till like it goes down. This is one of the few tracks, where it's like, oh, if you wait for a card, that
Right.
risk that the very end of it isn't necessarily the better spot.
Nope.
Because it's like you need wood,
Right.
surprisingly, for a tree, and wood is not as common as I thought it was going to be. Like, it can be, of course. There's masters and stuff. That's
Yeah.
like, here's 2 wood.
I think that's where it comes. Is there's more the masters? Like I think I have 5 masters, and all of them have wood, and 1 has double wood.
Oh man, that's probably why I didn't have any. Because I had all the ones giving me leaves.
Yeah,
That is actually true. I had a bunch of ones giving me leaves. So it could
Yeah.
just be that the ones I happened to take were 4 leaves. But because
Right.
I was really jonesing for like wood at
Wood.
one point, I'm like, God, do I have a fucking erectile dysfunction? Where's my wood?
right,
Like, I need it to get more leaves.
right.
And I think that's a sign of a good game.
Yeah.
Because if you're just playing like where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna get the card that I want.
Right.
I'm gonna get the tiles that I want. I'm gonna play them how I want. And it's like, well, you know what? Let's just not do this and just say we did.
Yeah, there's just enough, in my opinion, there's enough tension in 3 players to feel good.
And it's always the person before me You've replaced Cat. You're now Cat, where it's like, there's no way anyone's going to take that gold card. Why would you take that gold card? There's no reason. You don't even have any fruit!
Because then I start collecting it.
That
was the first card I took.
Yep. That's called proactive thinking, and then mine's very reactive. It's like, okay, I got all my fruit.
See, I thought I was going to do that because I took the assistance card at the very beginning of the game. It's like, oh, I'm going to go for every assistant I can find, and then no one let me grab an assistant the rest of the game.
Which is funny, yeah, because I went for these pottery. What are they called? These aren't
growth
tools.
cards.
Growth cards, and then flowers, which I ended up getting 3 out. But then, I had all like all the points for what you had, which is again.
I had a ton of masters, which I got this one early on, like it was at the first card. I was like, oh, that one's just going. It kind of messed up what my plan was originally for that turn, but it's like, I knew it was already worth a minimum of 6 points. I was like, I'm going to get a couple more points from it.
And I like that. I like that there's the randomness of those objectives, kind of like Isle of Cat style. Where it's like, here's a bunch of these objectives that you can either be like, oh, I happen to have a bunch of those, let me get points, or start playing, get them way early and start building towards that.
They have a variant to basically shuffle these into the first third of the deck. Okay. To basically help encourage someone to go a specific, so they're out, and now I have them so I can start going for a specific path. Yeah. Versus oh, I knew you took tons of assistance, I'm just going to take that assistant bonus card away from you, even though you spent a lot of the game getting assistance from the game.
Yeah, hate drafting, where it's like, okay, you're getting no points, but it's you not getting points is the same as me gaining points. It's like, except I'm going to shoot you now in real life. Brett, what do you think of the game?
Cute, but not simplistic. There's enough strategy to really engage, and you got to think, and you got to plan, and then you got to realize, oh shit, I cheated.
Yeah,
we all did, except
the person who's been playing it every day since he got it.
But
you've been playing this as much as you've been playing Baldur's Gate 3, right?
Oh yeah,
just hundreds of hours of Bonsai.
Have you played the solo?
I have not.
Okay.
Because I'm not really a solo player.
I understand. Just
in case.
If anybody happened to know what it was like.
Nope. No idea how the solo plays.
Oh, cool.
I assume it's going to be halfway decent because this game, while slightly interactive in the sense that you're losing cards to someone else pulling them, realistically there's not much player interaction other than that.
Yeah. So, and it should, I will say, so we were talking about how this is has elements of Honey Buzz and all those. It fits in that genre of Canvas, Calico, Verdant, all those flat out games. I think it's the publishing company. But I would say it's not as heavy as those.
Right.
Canvas to me is way heavier than this is.
Canvas is surprisingly deceptive.
Yeah.
You'll spend a lot of your time okay, if I do this combination, shit!
Right.
And I have 5, so I have to make a painting.
Right.
I hate my art. I hate it. And then you kill yourself.
Well, then you win. Is what you find out is when you do terrible art, what you think is terrible art, then just for whatever reason wins you the game.
That's true. It's hey, my art sucks, but people love it. I will say that this game can have a chance for you to actually be completely shut out.
Yep. You could build yourself around a way to not allow you to play.
Right, and I mean, to be fair, you're entirely conscious.
There's a move that I'm suddenly remembering from a playthrough I watched. That if you find yourself completely shut out, there's something you can do.
Oh, good.
There might be.
You're allowed to remove tiles, I think.
See, okay, yeah, because I was wondering if there was
But it's not long enough, I don't think, for that to be a serious problem.
Yeah, and to be fair, you are entirely conscious of placing your own tiles. So if you cover don't cover up all your wood with leaves, and then you'll have an out, then it's well, I guess I'm not playing anymore.
There are a few things along those lines. There are a few things I can think of that would be both better and worse if it were a longer game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's an engine builder, but you really just start your engine going, and then it's over.
Honestly, yeah, if this game was like 15 minutes longer, I probably wouldn't like it as much. Because there's not enough to do. They found that sweet spot of like, and it's done. And you're like, okay, I don't feel unfulfilled. Like, I got what I wanted. I built my tree.
Well, it's like Brett was saying, like, oh, we got quite a bit of game left. And I'm kind of looking at the pile, like, not really. Like, in my head's like,
well, too, yeah. I mean,
really
it's kind of like
more of the game left.
The game length, I guess, is technically determined by player agency, where it's like it depends on how many cards you choose to take versus like, okay, I've built up enough of a pool to now cultivate. Right. But again, not really, because your cultivate can be, 10 tiles. You build up a pool and then you're like, oh, okay, now I'm going to dump 7 of them, instead of it being like, oh, you can only do 3.
Right.
So you have this massive pool, it just takes 10 turns.
Especially if you've been grabbing lots of cards, you probably have lots of tiles, and also you have tools or other growth cards, so you can then play all those tiles.
Yeah.
So you cultivate, at least for me, is basically, you might save 1 tile, like you have 1 tile left over, but you are dumping everything else.
It's actually pretty interesting, because I never got tool cards. Like, I was running with 5 tiles, and I was like, "This might come back to bite me," but I'm gonna play my cards, see how it works out. And I never felt behind.
You got a bunch of assistants, didn't you?
Yes, actually, you know what? That's fair.
That's how you
I got 3 assistants that helped me pump them out, so I didn't have to go after tool cards.
Exactly. And I kind of went for the tool cards honestly because they were at the spots I needed those tiles for. Yeah, it's like, I need those tiles, so I'm going to grab it. The tool cards aren't bad; they're not going to harm anything.
Right.
But they're not super advantageous. Like I wasn't ever running out. Kind of
What's situations. That? Does that action have a name? Did you find it, or you can remove?
So there's a note that just says, in the improbability that this happens,
if you're an idiot,
you remove the least number of tiles from your tree to be able to place a wood card.
Okay.
Or wood token down.
Okay. Oh, you get like a free wood token, or okay.
You basically you do a cultivate, and if you need to continue on building wood, and you can't, you remove 1 tile at a time until you're able to place that wood in the spot.
Okay.
And they go back to the general supply. So you lose those tiles that you remove.
Which, I mean, thematically is because I'm pretty sure you have to trim bonsais to get them to... I've never had a bonsai, and I don't have a green thumb. But I'm pretty sure you like trim it to like have it grow and stuff. So it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. You trim off like, oh, well, I have to get rid of these 3 because I blocked myself somewhere else.
Right.
And okay, that's what I had to cut off though. Now the fruit and the leaves and the flower died, but that's gonna allow me to build out.
Right.
So, never mind. Disregard. You can't close yourself out. Because there are games where it's like, oh, I messed up. Well, I guess I'm not playing anymore. This is fun. Any negatives on the game? I have one, but it's more of a component issue.
Yeah, I mean, so component-wise, I like that they did the art that everything ties to what it's supposed to go to, but the leaves are very, very... Like, you have to actually kind of look at where the wood touches the leaves, and to me, just bring that out a little bit clearer so there's a little more brown on it would help kind of tie all that together.
Yeah, that's actually, the negative that I have is that you have all these icons, like the flower with the leaves, meaning that it has to touch a leaf, and then like you said, the leaves have to touch wood, but it's not those specific sides.
Right.
But then they have a token, which is the fruit, that it is those specific sides.
Right.
And it's like, well, that's just kind of weird that you would not have it matter for any of them except for 1 token.
Well, it doesn't really matter.
I guess, it doesn't have to be. Like, you could do that.
Yeah. But there's no logic to not do it that way and to teach it that way. Well, I also think is so...
it's a good reminder.
It's a good reminder.
If you actually do it that way.
Right.
You have these scoring help cards. You could also just put those rules, basically, touch wood, touch leaf. The 2 adjacent edges have to touch leaf.
Yeah.
Onto these cards. And again, it's right there in front of you. The scoring is all at the end anyway.
They definitely went the... I'm drawing a blank on it, but where it's language independent.
Right.
Where it's like, hey, anyone can play this.
Which I like having your tiles that way.
Yeah.
But let's just put this very simple rules right there on the card. Again, this is your 5th playthrough. I'm not needing this card anymore. I
Yeah.
know what the score points are, like the points values are. I don't need this anymore.
Yeah.
But for the first few rounds, you go to a coffee shop with a game group, and you set this game up quickly. I can now hand this to everybody. Everybody knows the rules. I like the fact that it goes into clear detail of what every gold tile is, what every parchment tile is, and what every specific card just does generically. So again, you have a question, I can literally just hand this to you and read the one page.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's weirdly confusing where it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
For a game as simple and clean as it is.
Right.
There is one thing that I'm not sure that I care for. And it's actually a two-parter on the goal tiles. The one thing I do like is I like the fact that when you meet a condition, you have to announce if you want it. And if you don't want it, you can't take it.
Right.
You can't, like, retroactively go back. I like that because that's a risk kind of like,
Right.
can I
Can I get
more before someone else for more points? And if I can't be like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll take that. I like that, and I like the fact that you have to do it as soon as you meet the condition. I think a lot of games should probably implement that,
Right.
Because it adds a level of extra strategy without adding complexity.
Right.
The thing I don't think I care for is that you can get multiple goal tiles
In one turn.
in one turn. I think you should still be limited to one because it kind of fits in that same like, which one should I go for? Which one should I grab now?
Right.
Versus
And hope it's still there next turn.
Well, but
Yeah.
the problem is then you can't say. It would be hard to argue then the instantaneous, because otherwise you're just saying like, I can score either, like if I get the wood and the leaves, I was able to pick those tiles because I needed to do it to put the fruit out.
yeah.
Well, now I only get one of those two, even though I met both conditions, and I can't do it the next turn because I didn't meet those conditions.
You gave it up. No,
I gave it
you're
up.
right.
No,
You're right.
well, because you didn't pass it.
I did because you have to choose it the minute you take
I
it.
see-
Well,
I
I
see what
can
you're
I can see that as a rule is that you have to choose, and you're
Yeah.
not passing on the other one.
Yeah.
But the argument is then the next round.
Because technically you did meet the conditions of both, and because you met the conditions, you have to announce that.
Right, because otherwise you have to remember, like, so Brett passes on it, but then 3 turns down the road, well, he's met the condition, but now
Yeah.
everybody has to remember that he didn't just pass on that.
Well, there's that.
That's
I was
true.
assuming it was just going to be the next round. If I want to claim them both,
Sure,
then I'll grab
but
one
again,
now and hope nobody takes
requires
the other one.
Correct.
a memory of, well, he
Yeah.
only passed on it because of X, Y, Z. So to
That was
me,
actually
it's,
something that crossed my mind when I was going to play through. Is it how often is someone going to forget that I passed on that, or somebody else that I passed on it? Mm-hmm. And so,
well, that's what I'm saying, like, because again,
because
when
I
you
didn't,
place them,
I wasn't thinking of those, so I wasn't even noticing when I qualified.
Yeah.
right. And again, and that's where, like, we start speeding up because, like, as soon as you would choose, like, a cultivate, we would just move to the next player. Well, technically, you need to wait for a second because if you choose a tile, that might change what Seth's plan is because he might say, like, "Oh, you're not claiming that. I can jump
Yeah,
in there and
I'm gonna
claim
cultivate
this."
and pop up like 5,
Right.
leaves down. Now I can grab it, and then you're like, oh, I'm done, finally placing everything. Oh wait, I qualified for that.
Right.
Yeah, this game can kind of lean itself. I think they probably we're probably not the audience that they're aiming for. We're not gonna have like people who play extensive games that are gonna be like, okay, you cultivated, I don't care about any of that, so I'm going to start doing my turn. And then,
Yeah.
But then there were times where it's like, I'm done, you start because I'm doing stuff. And then it's like back to Brett, and he's still on the turn before, and it's like, and then
turn
you're
is
like,
it?
and then like, and you're still placing stuff, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. I look up, and then I'm like, oh, he must have gone.
Right.
So wait, shit, did I skip you? They're probably aiming for more family, where it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or
see what
casual conversational people. I'll
That's-
take my turn. I'll chat a little bit. I'll
Yeah.
look at my
Right.
phone.
Or the people, like, you're taking your turn, and so everyone else is chatting while you're finishing your turn. And then
Yeah.
you finish, and it goes to the next
But then
player.
it has enough strategy that you're like, I'm not necessarily going to be chatting because it has enough puzzle element that I kind of care about what cards are coming out and what tokens I have. So it's like, it's not so,
yeah.
laissez-faire that it's like, oh, okay. Oh, is it my turn? It's just like, how am I going to play this? And again, maybe we're taking it way too seriously.
Yeah.
But it can play on both levels.
I think
like
it can play on both levels.
That's true.
Like Canvas, you can do the same thing. You can
Yeah.
concentrate every single move, or you can just go, I'm going to take what I'm offered.
It feels,
do the best I can.
kind of in that same vein as Cascadia.
Yeah.
Where it's like you kind of very much care about the positioning, but it's not... You're limited with what's out there.
Right.
This is actually a shocker. Like, I remember you bringing it up whenever it was at Gen Con, and every time I walked by it, I was like, eh.
So,
but
like,
that was
last
kind of
year,
Gen Con last year anyway.
Yeah, so that was my problem with, like, Gen Con last year this was one of the few games I was like, oh, I kind of really want that game.
Yeah.
And mostly, I've had bonsai trees. I like growing bonsai trees.
They're super cool.
It's kind of one of those fun, like when I was working at office, you have it on your office desk. Mm-hmm. You come in first thing in the morning, you spray it, you take your mist bottle, you spray
that's right,
it.
Yeah. Like spray it like a cat?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Zach, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, because, like, legitimate, like, I had one of those 1 gallon fish tanks and my bonsai tray on my desk.
Okay.
And that was what my desk was, because otherwise I was totally bored. Because we had no windows, and, we're in a cubicle, and that was life.
Don't die on me, please. You're my only reason for living.
That's weird, because I've never mixed work and life.
Well, I mean,
I
you're
do try.
soul crushing in a cubicle. You're like, well,
I also had a Gundam next to it too.
A Gundam?
A Gundam,
oh,
like the little model Gundam.
Yeah, I gotcha. I thought you said I also had a gun next to it.
No, that was the bomb drawer. Next
with
to
the,
whiskey.
the empty whiskey bottle. Oh no. Anyway, I'm looking at... I've seen, what is it, DV? Yeah, DV Games. I've seen them many times as publishers. I think they're just one of those companies that brings a bunch of games over because they have Sleeping Gods on here. Like, under their list. It's like, okay, that's... they just must be one of those publishing companies that grabs a bunch of games. But yeah, so whenever I was seeing it, and they had, like, the How to Play video on their tables, I was like, this is probably going to be like way too light.
That was my fear, but at the same time, I thought the theme is going to get me enough that I'm going to probably enjoy it enough to play it once a month, maybe once every 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And to me, that's it.
I wouldn't want to play this all the time because it doesn't have enough variability like all those other games. Flat out games, all of them have enough variety that you're gonna get a new puzzle every time.
I have a game group that meets once a month that is on the lighter end of gaming, and this game will fit well with it.
Yeah. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what are we giving Bonsai? I don't care who starts.
I'll go 8.
8?
Mm-hmm. That was the same as me, 8.
You know what? I'll also give it an 8. I think, right now it's an 8. I could probably see it being a 7 as time went on, just because it's like, it's like, okay, like, it doesn't have enough replayability for me, like a bunch of the other games that we've been talking about, but for being a cute little, shockingly
for a
deeper
30-minute little strategy game.
This game is like, what, $30?
I don't remember.
I think it was selling 30, 35.
Okay. Yeah. I had gift cards on, so I didn't pay attention.
Gotcha. So, good price point. Like, and it's a game about trees.
Now that I think about it.
It's a game about trees that isn't cancer, like fucking photosynthesis, and I hate that game so much. There's another game that was about trees that was similar to photosynthesis, where you kind of, it mattered where you were on the board for sunlight and stuff. Dice Tower talked about it, but I can't think of it. Anyway, that's Bonsai, everyone. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.